I have been on a journey to be someone. And along the way, I learned the secrets. It's your friends, the people you choose to spend time with. My life, health, and wealth have been changed forever by the people around me. And now it's time for you to meet my friends. This is the Be Someone podcast with Michael Hong. Welcome back to the Be Someone podcast with Michael Hong. Today I'm here with my good friend Liuver, and Liuver and I are in a couple of masterminds and meetup groups together with each other. And every day I open my phone and this guy is just killing it. He's posting another project. He's doing another multifamily, or he's doing, I'll let you tell a story, but man, this is one guy in my world that is just absolutely killing it. I'm like, Liuver, you got to come on. You got to tell everybody what you're working on. So welcome, Liuver.
Thank you so much, my brother. Excited to be here. Yeah. And again, I'm going to do this, but only with one condition that I bring you into my podcast
Done.
so we can
Let's
share
do it.
your story too.
We'll schedule it after this one. And so before we jump into what you're working on now, man, can you tell us how you got started in real estate?
Yes, I got started like I'm from Cuba, so I've been in the States only for 8 years now. And I started investing in 2020. And I got my first deal was a fourplex that I bought using my FHA. You know, nowadays everyone is sharing on TikTok, Instagram that you can buy with your conventional or your FHA up to 4 units. Not back then, it wasn't that public. That information it wasn't public, but I had a mentor. I can call it a mentor who helped me uh, do it. He helped me find the lender. He helped me find the property, and yeah, I got blessed
So
with that information.
yeah, so we call that house hacking, and it's really popular now. But I'd house
Hmm.
hacked in 2018, and not many people were talking about it. You were house
Yep.
hacking years ago as well. And for everyone who doesn't know, you can use your FHA conventional loan, and I believe you can also use a VA for up to 4 units. So for
Yes, you
financing
can. Yes, you can.
purposes, yeah, so for financing purposes, they consider up to 4 units. They treat it similar to a single family. After 4 units, it becomes commercial, more like apartments. And so nowadays, very popular, and everyone's doing it. But when you first started doing it, it was less known, right?
Yep. And the beauty is that having a mentor, because a mentor who has done the things that they're teaching you. So that guy was an agent too, so he helped me find the property. But like 3 months before, he had bought his own fourplex. So he guided me through the entire process. His lender, everything.
Awesome. Do you remember what you paid for it?
Yes, 300,000.
All right.
300,000. Uh, 4 units, 3 2 1s, and 1 4 2.
Wow. And what'd you have to put down to get into that one?
3.5% was like $12,000.
Twelve
I
thousand
ended up
dollars.
paying, yeah, we negotiated some seller credits, and I ended up paying like $14,000 that I didn't have. I had like only $8,000. The other like six were, I cash out my credit cards.
A risk taker. Yeah, so for
Yes.
$12,000 or $14,000, you can control 4 units of real estate. That is awesome. Using
Hmm.
an FHA
Yeah.
loan. And then when you use an FHA loan, you have to live in one of the units for 12 months. So when people, when I tell them about this, they freak out. It's a 30-year mortgage, but you're only committing to live there for 12 months. And
Yes.
so it's not that big of a commitment. And so if you play your cards right, every 12 months you can move on to another mortgage. This isn't just FHA. This is a conventional mortgage as well. You're just committing to live in it for 12 months. And so my wife, bless her, she really, really helped me in my real estate career. When me and my wife learned about it, she said, "Babe, every 12 months we'll just move. We'll just keep buying houses with a mortgage every 12 months." And gotta hand it to her. Not many women would do that, and we didn't have kids at the time. I mean, we still don't have kids now. Kids are coming in the future, we hope. Fingers crossed, God willing.
Yes.
And so we were prepared to do that, but we found that we weren't buying properties as efficiently as we could using mortgages. It's great for your first one. It gets people started, but
Yes.
tell me tell me about how you exited that four. Do you still have that fourplex today? I should ask
Yes, I
that.
still have it. I still have it. Yeah, I still have it. I don't. Again, we were talking about that before the recording. That I'm not the kind of guy who sells the properties. I want to. My mindset is still like buying and holding, buying and holding. Every property that I've sold is because I have a partner that wants to sell, right? But almost always my first option is to keep it. These days,
Okay.
I'm buying more flips, so I'm flipping more. My portfolio is more balanced. My business is more balanced. But before, I was buying and holding on, hold
Okay.
it to
And
death.
how much and how much equity does that fourplex have today, if you had to guess?
Yeah. So right now I owe like 260, and the value is close to 500. So
Wow.
double. Hmm.
And how many years have you held it?
Five. 25.
5 years. Wow. So
Yeah.
in 5 years, man, and it cash flows positively, right? How much
Yes.
has it cash flow?
Yes. I was telling you that even when I am like 50%, like only 2 units occupied, I cash flow from 500 to 1,000. When I'm fully occupied, like 2,000 plus,
Wow.
2,000
And
plus.
those are long-term rentals, or are you doing Airbnb
Yeah,
in
long
them, or
term. No, no, because it's a Class C neighborhood. It's in Channel View, actually Cloverleaf. I-10 for those in Houston is between I-10 and Beltway 8 to the east. So it's a Class C neighborhood. So I go only like long term and Section 8. I
wow.
combine those two.
$2,000 a month cash flow on something you paid 14 grand to get into that is now has $260,000 loan on it, but is worth around $500,000. That is the
And
power of house hacking.
3.4% interest rate.
3.4% interest rate. That's amazing. Do you still have that
You
property
see, that's
today?
why I don't want to sell it.
uh,
Yes, yes. And
and
so right now I had some issues with the property because I got robbed, but I'm dealing with insurance now. So even right now at this moment, it's a liability because I'm still have to pay the mortgage, and I only have 1 unit bringing income. But I still don't want to sell it because I know that I can fix it like within a couple of weeks and getting back on track.
yeah, for everybody who doesn't follow Liuver's social media, he had building materials stolen from his property, and he posted that up, and they can go see that. What is your which one did you post that on? What's your social media?
My social media is actually right here is like at liuver.sanudo. That's the handle for email. I mean, not Gmail, YouTube, also Instagram and Facebook.
Or YouTube,
I
Instagram,
brought,
Facebook, and
yeah,
that's Liuver. That's spelled Liuver
dot
dot.
S Sanudo. I
Awesome.
love to share, brother. I love to share the bad things of being an entrepreneur because people needs to know what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I don't like to share only the wins because people get confused and they just jump in without being prepared. I like to share the things that they're not going the way we want, right? So people can expect at least, okay, this is a good business, this is a good way to live my life, but I will expect some uh, setbacks. Sometimes are more, sometimes are less, but yes,
Yeah,
that's why I love to share it.
and I know you have a lot of partners, and so I love how transparent you are. You show the good, you show the wins, and you also show the bumps in the road that you guys hit, and so your
Hmm.
partners are all caught up to speed with what's going on with your properties. But first property you bought on the MLS using a mortgage, traditional method, but
Yep.
along the way you kind of discovered a more efficient way to invest in real estate. So tell us what you're doing and how you found that first deal with the new method that you're using to invest.
Well, after that, I bought another property using conventional, but I house hacked it into three. I bought a single family with a detached garage, and I converted the garage into a unit. And I took the main bedroom, and I converted it into another unit, following my house hacking fellows in Florida, all Cubans and all Latinos. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but in kind of South Florida, Miami area, every house, like 90% of the houses, they have an ADU like a CETA or something, like efficiencies, they call it, like a studio apartment. So I saw that and I was like, how can I bring that to Texas? So my second property was a conventional loan a year after, or actually 6 months after, I believe. And I did that. So I converted a single family into a triplex doing a house hack. But after that, I realized, okay, um, I don't have enough money because again, I had only my W-2, like a regular W-2, way less than 100K. So how can I start investing and not buying properties at retail? Because I was always looking at books, podcasts, Kiyosaki saying, I buy properties and then I add value and I sell them and refinance. And I was like, I cannot do that on properties on the MLS. They are already at the top market. I mean, at retail price. I need to buy properties cheaper, right? That's where when I met my mentor and harmony lender, Javed Anwar, that he told me how to buy properties. He teach me how to buy properties off market as a harmony lender. So after that, I was kind of networking, hunting. I even pay a course, $14,000 to learn how to buy properties off market. I mean, it was a wholesaling course, but I don't want to be a wholesaler. I wanted to find my own deals. So after that was a rabbit hole into off market and distressed properties.
Right. So you took the knowledge of being a wholesaler to find off market
Mm-hmm.
properties at good prices, but instead of selling the contract to another investor like a wholesaler would normally do, you kind of wholesaled to yourself. You just kept the
Yes.
properties.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that is
I
awesome. And so,
started doing bandit signs, like driving for dollars, like anything. I mean, anything that a wholesaler teaches. I was doing it. Not as a professional kind of wholesaler or investor, but little here and there. Like I always had like 20 bandit signs in my truck. Every time I had the opportunity, I put a bandit sign. I always was, even when I was driving to my job, my W-2, I was always looking for distressed properties. I was taking different routes. I was living in Katy and I was driving to League City. For those out of that they're not familiar with Houston, that's like 1 hour and a half commute. It's like from west all the way to the southeast. So I was driving every day to work.
yeah, so people who don't live in Houston maybe have a hard time understanding this, but I've told people in the past I've had jobs where an hour and a half drive to work, and then another hour and a half drive home from work is common in this city.
Oh,
Where
that's
many
like
other
going.
cities you could drive across the whole city in less than an hour. You know, so Houston's a very big place. We've got a lot of highways, and for people not from here, they think that's crazy when I tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yep.
did like, I mean, you and me have a similar story, brother, because when I was still working, I was looking for deals. My wife learned how to drive for dollars. We're driving around looking for deals, writing down addresses, skip tracing them, calling people, putting out bandit signs. We have a video. I got to find this video, but we have a video somewhere on Valentine's Day. Instead of going out and doing something appropriate for Valentine's Day, we went out and put bandit signs. And there's like a video of me like stopping in traffic. Don't do this. Don't do what I did. Stopping in traffic, putting on my caution lights, and running out and stabbing a bandit sign in the ground while my wife takes video with her phone. Back when we both still had jobs, and that like this was our Valentine's Day as real estate investors, and we loved it. And we just got chocolate covered strawberries from a Kroger or something, and drove around eating chocolate covered strawberries and putting out bandit signs. Like any time that we had, because I was working a full time job, I flew to a different city every single week. I was only in Houston on weekends and holidays. And then my wife was working as a nurse while she was also in a master's program. So we were doing real estate investing while I'm gone Monday through Friday, and she's working and in a master's program in school. And so if we can find a way to build a portfolio, anybody listening to this can too. No matter what your
I love that, bro.
yeah, no matter what your situation is. So tell me about your first off market deal that you did.
Okay, my first off-market deal after I took that course was my second one because my first I found it through wholesalers. Actually, my first deal, my first off-market deal, I paid like 7 daisy chainers. I call it these days connectors. Yes, but every time I have this principle, like life principle. Every time that I do something that something doesn't go the way I wanted, I always find some good in it. And at that time was finding my harmony lender and mentor. So someone brought me the deal. I liked it because it was a duplex, a house with an ADU, like official ADU, not just the ones that I was house hawking. Uh, so I bought it off market. It's in Rosenberg. I still have it today. Again, like $1,000 cash flow uh, property. So I bought it from a wholesaler. I mean, like 7 wholesalers in the middle. That
And
was
so
my
he's
second deal.
talking.
Again,
So he's talking about daisy chaining. And for those who don't know, daisy chain is when a wholesaler gets a contract, they put a property under contract, they can't find the end buyer that they're looking for. So they go to another wholesaler and say, promote this to your end buyers and we'll both take a fee. And so when two wholesalers are working together on that, they would call it a daisy chain, or more respectfully, we would call it a connector. And then if if that wholesaler goes to another one, then it would daisy chain to a third one. So you bought a daisy chain deal from like 7, was it 7?
yeah, 5 to 7, because one was my lender, the other one was a loan officer. Yeah, like 5 to 7. I can 5 to 7 connectors.
Yeah, and for anybody listening to this, do not reshare. If you know a wholesaler that sends you a deal and you're not the buyer of it and you know a buyer for it, do not daisy chain someone else's deal without getting their permission or calling them up saying, I have a buyer. Can we work out a fee? It is okay. But also, I found that some title companies, if there's several people on a daisy chain, some title companies could refuse to take the file. And so when you're
Yep.
daisy chaining multiple people involved or using multiple connectors, it gets more difficult to close a deal. So I wouldn't go out in the world, everybody, looking for these kind of deals. But Liuver's the kind of guy that makes it happen when he sees value there. And so I always tell people, what does it matter what you pay? Does the deal make sense to you? Does the deal cash flow? Does the deal meet your metrics? Who cares how many other people made money in the deal? Because as you know now, Liuver, you and I have both bought a lot of deals off market. And so it's a lot of work to find off market deals. So if someone wants to do that for you and make a small fee and the numbers work for you, who cares? I have wholesalers all over Houston sending me deals every week and I look at them. I don't care what their fee is. I care if the numbers make sense to me. So when
I
you
love
bought
I
that
love wholesalers. I love wholesalers because I've been one. I mean, not as a professional wholesaler, but I've done the work, and I know that it takes a lot of work. And again, I know that there's some investors out there that they don't like to pay like high wholesaling fees, or they don't like to pay daisy chainers. But again, I follow you on that. As long as the deal works for me, I don't care how many people, how big is the wholesaling fee, because I've learned the value of relationships. Every time I pay, and my mindset is I want to pay everyone the most I can, right? Every time I create a relationship with the wholesaler, they always send me deals first. After we close that one, I'm their VIP best friend guy, because I know that they can send me a deal and they will get paid. And they know that I'm truly gonna look for ways to pay him more. Even sometimes I've done like, hey, let me pay you 5 now, and when I sell it and when I refinance it, I will pay you the other 5. And they always get without contracts. I've
Wow.
done it like 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Wow. And so I like what you said about relationships, because real estate is a team sport. And that was a big mindset shift for me, because when I came out of the W-2 corporate world, I thought everything was me. It's on my back. If I don't do it, nobody will. And sometimes in certain jobs, it's like you have to hide what you're doing from your coworkers, that this is my secret recipe that I'm going to use to get a promotion or get a raise or make my boss look good. And so in corporate America, people don't always share. It's kind of like, it's like in school. You can't share answers to a test or you're in trouble, right? You can't cheat on a
Oh,
test.
that's so good.
But in the entrepreneurial space and in the real estate world, we have to share. We have to work together. Real estate is a ship and everyone has a different oar and they're
If you want
rowing
to
to a
grow,
rhythm. If you want to
if
grow,
you want to
yes.
grow,
And anybody who thinks they can do this by themselves, I remind you, I saw a number. If you buy a house and it goes through title and it has like a lender, an inspector, an appraiser, there is up to 150 human beings who touched a transaction, either
wow.
through paperwork, through something. So 150 human beings get to eat every time we buy or sell a property. So if you think you're going to come into real estate and do this by yourself, you got the wrong mindset. There is no such thing as doing real estate by yourself. It doesn't happen. Even if you're buying your personal residence for your family to live in, does not happen. So tell us about how you found that first off-market deal, how it went, how you funded it.
Okay, the duplex that I told you in Rosenberg was through wholesalers, right? But the one that I found that after that, driving for dollars to that location, I found another deal like 2 blocks from that, like literally driving for dollars. Like I was afraid of calling people, so I was just collecting addresses, skip tracing once a week, and sending them texts from my own phone without no CRM, just old school. So I sent a text to the guy, and he told me, "Yeah, come here." And we created a good rapport with that seller. He was trying to, an old guy. He was trying to fix the house. He had foundation issues, and I ended up sending him an offer like 115, and he accepted it. He told me that that's another thing important, the importance of creating rapport with people, like being good with relationship with people. This is a people business, not about property. This is numbers and people, not about houses. Numbers, right numbers and the right people. That's it. So I ended up uh, putting the deal of the contract, and I wholesaled that one. And I made a mistake on my ARB calculations. I calculated the ARB was 280, but at the end of the day, the real ARB was 340. So I lowballed the guy like big time. He took my offer, and I ended up making like $65,000 or 60 in a wholesale fee. That was kind of my second off market deal uh, back in Rosenberg.
Wow, that is awesome. And
Mhm.
so when you're generating off-market deals for yourself, was it all coming from bandit signs? Were you doing direct mail? Were you cold calling? What were you doing?
No, bandit signs and driving for dollars. Those are the two. That was my only kind of marketing strategy, and a lot of networking. I have a I have like a method that I like to network a lot in like small networking events, and trying to find like newbie wholesalers, make friends with them. Why? Because newbie wholesalers, they don't have buyers list. They have only few buyers. So if you create a relationship with them, if you make them trust you, and you will go and buy their properties, of course they have to be good deals. Sometimes they don't even know how to underwrite a deal. Sometimes they don't even know how to comp correctly a deal. So I'm adding value to them as a buyer, as a friend, as an investor, and then they are bringing me the deals that they're putting on the contract because they're the ones putting the work. So those three: bandit signs, driving for dollars, and a lot of networking with newbie wholesalers. I don't like to buy from big wholesalers because I know that they know the numbers really well. So they sell you close to the red line for us and investors. And on top of that, they have huge buyers lists. So there's always a guy in their buyers list with a lot of money that they just want to buy and hold the property. So that guy will always beat me because as investors, we're trying to put close to zero uh, in an investment deal, like do the perfect kind of the bird strategy.
Yeah, so I like what you said. Work with newer wholesalers, coach them if they need it, give them resources, teach them anything that they might not
Hmm.
know if they need it. And big professional wholesale dispo operations, I agree with you, man. They have huge buyers list, and there's always someone willing to pay more than you. It's like going to the auction. I've been going to the
Hmm.
auction here for years, never seen a deal. There's a couple people who really know what they're doing that they can buy deals that make money here, but in general, there's always people that don't understand that they're overpaying or don't care that they're overpaying. Some people need tax write-offs and depreciation. They'll pay 100 cents on the dollar, 110 cents on the dollar.
Hmm.
Other people are maybe just trying to get their money from overseas over here and will overpay. And so there's always someone on your buyers list, on a big wholesaler's buyers list. There's always someone that'll overpay, and you look at the numbers and you're like, how are they making money on this? And some of them don't
They're
care.
not.
I met a doctor who had a chain of clinics. He's making over $1 million a year. He just wants to buy one or two houses a year to add to his portfolio to hold for 10 or 20 years and then let his kids inherit. which is a terrible thing to do, by the way. Anyone who's listening, do not let your kids inherit properties. Your kids don't want the properties, they want the money. And if you let your kids inherit properties, they'll be going through something called a probate list, which is where an investor is going to buy it for a deep discount, and the kids don't care. So unless your kids have real estate knowledge and are actively managing your portfolio before you pass away, I tell all my investor friends, do not leave properties to your kids. You're leaving them a generational curse. They're just
Yeah.
gonna
What
they're
about
just gonna
a trust? If they leave
trust.
it in a trust.
There's a trust. There's lots of other ways to structure things, but I promise you, unless and also I stole this from somebody, but I tell people generational wealth is not leaving them real estate. Generational wealth is knowledge and how you raise your children, because statistically, we're going to be about 40 years, your kids are going to be about 40 years old when we die of old age. And so if your kid is 40 years old, if your child's 40 and doesn't have his financials together, doesn't have his education together, doesn't have purpose, and is not driven in life, you leaving your kids millions of dollars is not going to change them. Okay, it's not
Wow,
going to put
that's
them
a
on
good.
in fact, it could actually ruin them if they don't have money skills, because money is a muscle, and people like me and Liuver, we work that muscle every day when we buy properties, when we invest, when we save up our money and manage our personal finances. So anybody you know with tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars of assets, they didn't snap their fingers and get there. They worked their muscles out and built that skill. So you're doing a disservice to your child if you turn around and dump $20 million on your kid who's has like a $50,000 a year job, lives in an apartment, can't manage his money very well, is in a bunch of debt, is not productive, is playing video games and drinking alcohol. Nothing good is going to come from leaving your kid that kind of money. So when I tell my people in my network, they're concerned about generational wealth. The generational wealth is spending time with your kids, giving them the proper upbringing, knowledge, and skills. We can't force our children to be involved. I'm going on a tangent here. We can't force our
No,
children
but
to
it's
be
so good.
involved. Yeah, we can't force our children to be involved in real estate, but we can give them the knowledge and the skills when they're young and the pathway, and then whatever they choose to do with their life is going to be on them. In my opinion, they can go to college, get a job, whatever. I just want my future kids to know that this is an option, and we're going to give you the base skills. But if you can't manage a personal credit card and you can't manage your own personal finances, I'm not leaving you a bunch of money. It's not happening. I'm going to put it in a charitable trust, and we're going to find people who need it. I want to die with zero. I'm doing the Warren Buffett thing. I want to put it in a big charitable trust and find a cause that really means something to me and leave it to them. Leave my kids a percentage of it. So I
I
say
love
all
it. I
that
love
to
that, bro.
say I went on a long tangent. We're going to rewind back to the wholesalers who have the doctors that want to buy a house or two a year, or the engineers or the lawyers, or the high net worth people that want the depreciation to lower their taxes. Those people will tell you
And the
I'm buying,
newbies, and the newbies that they don't run the numbers.
and newbies that don't understand how to run the numbers. And some people just think if they buy a house at any price and hold it forever, they're going to make a gazillion dollars. And that's just not how it works. You have to make sure you're buying things right, run it like a business. This is a real business we're doing here. This isn't like you playing around with the stocks in your retirement account on the weekend. This is a real business. You have to run it
Yeah.
accordingly. So I like what you said. Work with the newbie investors, the newbie wholesalers rather, and the big dispo houses, the big wholesaling operations. I don't even open their emails anymore. They're not going to have a deal that makes sense to me. They're in the game of finding who will pay the highest for this property. And usually there's always someone richer than you, dumber than you, more motivated than you. I'm not the most motivated buyer, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay saying no. So,
You said it, bro. Yep.
so talk about what your portfolio and your business looks like today.
Okay, so quick story after that, I started buying like a lot of cash deals, like off market through wholesalers. I got 3 deals out of my own like marketing, bandit time, and the other one was like also like driving for dollars. But all the other deals, I bought up to 10 deals with my conventional because I have my W-2. So after my first 2 properties on the market, my couple of wholesales, I started buying properties from distressed properties from wholesalers and connectors and people, even my Harmony lender, a couple of deals, send me a couple of deals. And that's another thing, relationships. Create relationships with people who have deals. Wholesalers, Harmony lenders, they also have deals because they get a lot of deals from their network. Sometimes they have to foreclose on another borrower. So they have to sell that deal. So after that, bless you. After that, I bought 10 properties off market doing the BER strategy, like buy. For those that doesn't know what it's a BER strategy, is like buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So I bought up to 10 because you can refinance, you can have only 10 conventional loans under your name. And I was using my W-2 as a leverage to refinance those properties that I was buying cash. So after that, I had literally no money, a little bit of debt by buying, like putting those down payments here and there. I started looking and I was getting really bad deals on my refinances because I tapped out my 10 conventional loans. My credit was not kind of good, a little below to 700, close to 700. And I was getting really bad non-conventional loans like DSCRs and stuff. So I started looking, okay, how can I buy properties with no money and no bank? And guess what? Pace Morby shows up on my Facebook ad. So I don't know if you guys know Pace Morby. He's kind of my mentor. I know Michael, you're also in the Subto community. But if you are a go-giver and you want to learn, or if you're looking to learn how to buy properties without using banks, you will meet that guy. You will see him. You will see him like on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and once you see him, you will buy his course or you will find a way to join his community. So I did that, and after that, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of other strategies like subject to like taking over other people's payments, seller finance. I always heard about those like strategies, but never had the information. Hybrid deals like sub-tools and seller finance. I learned about innovations. All sorts of creative finance deals. So now my portfolio, I have up to like 60 doors. When I say 60 doors, it's like 30 something properties because there are like more doors than properties because most of my portfolio is like multifamily units, like small multifamilies. Remember my mindset I was from the beginning. First deal was a fourplex, second deal was a single family, but I converted into a triplex. So I've always done that. I've been always trying to create multifamilies or buy multifamilies or create multifamilies. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you see that I take properties inside the loop in Houston, meaning that areas that have no zoning, so I can go and take a property that is a building or two buildings, and I subdivide those properties into multiple units, up to 4, to keep it still residential. So my portfolio looks like that. Most of my deals are like small multifamilies. I still have like 2-3 single family homes that I'm trying to sell or convert it into co-living spaces. I never, at the beginning, I was always buying and holding. I never had the mindset of flipping, the mindset of wholesaling. So now my portfolio looks different because I left my W-2 2 years ago. So I've been a full-time investor. So that's a good story there. I left my W-2 way early. Too early for me. I didn't have a business. I didn't have an active income strategy when I left my W-2 because I had my active income from my W-2 and I was investing, buying and holding. When I left my W-2, I had no active income. I thought that I was about to live with my $10,000 cash flow. So all my rentals and my tenants find out that I was out of job. So a couple of tenants stopped paying, couple of ACs stopped working. So I learned my lesson. At that time, I learned my lesson. Okay, I need active income. I cannot live off my cash flow unless it's like, I don't know, 50K a month. So I jumped right back to the drawing table. Okay, what do I need to do? I started like flipping. I started like wholesaling more. I became an agent just to have also like active income as an agent. And I've been doing that since then, since last year. This year, I'm focusing more on flips too, like balancing my portfolio. And luckily, I got like 3 multi-million-dollar flips that I'm doing.
You're doing 3 multi-million-dollar flips?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
I
know
mean,
about
when I say
that.
multi-million, it's like more than one. The first one is the one in Memorial that if you guys can see my can check my Instagram is the latest reel. It's like 1.3 in Memorial. I have another one closing this week in the Heights, again at 1.2, and I have another one putting on the contract today in Richmond, like 2.5.
And so when you do high end luxury flips like this, what do you how do you underwrite that? Like if you're selling something for 1.2, what do you have to buy something like that to make any money off of it?
Same thing, like 70% rule. For those who doesn't know what is a 70% rule, actually all those cash deals, all those burst strategy deals, there is a formula for you to buy it. It's like I follow the 70%. Other people follow the 75. I was following the 75, but basically I went back to 70 just to be covered. So 70% means that you need to buy your property, including rehab. So purchase price and rehab costs below 70% of the ARV, of the after repair value. So if a property value after fixed is 100K, you need to buy it and fix it for $70,000 or less. So it is like $70,000 for purchase and rehab. 15%, I mean 15,000 out of that is for holding costs and closing costs, and 15% for profits. If you do it faster, those 15% for profits can grow a little bit, can go higher. You can go higher than 15% in profits. If you do it slow, if you have any hiccups, if you have problems, that 15% from holding and closing can eat your 15% profits. So if I going back to your question, if I go into a high-end property, I follow the same rule.
So
Excuse me,
70% rule.
70% rule. Mm-hmm.
So the purchase price and the rehab have to be 70% of the ARV or after repair value. So whatever we
Correct.
believe the house would be when it's fully rehabbed, we can pay no more than 70% following your method. And if
Yes.
you do that,
It's,
doesn't
it's, it's
matter.
not like it's not like a it's not like black and white. You can play, right? I can go up to 75, a little bit higher, if I know that the days on the market, for example, that's another thing that you have to look. If the days on market in that area are super fast, like in hot markets here in Houston, like Memorial, like Cypress, for example, like Katy, if you know that you will sell fast if you have a good product, you know that that 15% that you are allocating for holding costs and closing costs, you can work. I mean, you can save money there. So by saving money there, you can pay a little bit more than just the 70%.
And that came with experience, right? You wouldn't do that on your first deal, but when you're more
No, no.
experienced, yeah, when you're more experienced, you can pay a little bit more because you understand the sub market a little bit more. And so
Mm-hmm.
day and so Liuver was talking about days on market, which is how long it takes for a property to sell in your
So,
area.
yeah.
So if the days on market are really short, if things are selling in 5, 10, 15, 30 days, you can be more confident. He can be more confident making a higher offer. If you're just starting, I wouldn't deviate from the numbers, but it's good for you to
Yep.
understand days on market. It's really important for you to understand days on market. So you're doing the 70% rule, rather it's a C class single family or you're doing a high end luxury flip. You're using the 70% rule.
Yes. Everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's my max. I always try to go below that. Again, if you're buying from wholesale, if you're buying from other people, yes, stick to the 70% rule. If you're kind of negotiating the deal yourself, try to get it like the cheaper you can. Of course, without giving the seller a good offer, right? I'm a believer on that. That yeah, even if the seller is like highly distressed property, try to give them the most money you can, because that's create like a good good vibe around you and your business.
Yeah, I love that. And so you've had a lot of contractors, you've done a lot of projects. Do you have any tips on how to
Hmm.
find good contractors?
Oh my goodness, you can't. You have to build them. So what I'm trying to say is like uh, kind of the same principle that I'm doing with wholesalers. I will try to find like racing stars in the contracting world. So people that are kind of like new, but I know that they're quality. Why those newbie contractors? Because their prices are good, right? As an investors, we don't want to overpay also on the contract. So we have two big numbers when you're kind of analyzing the, sorry about that. One is the rehab. I've seen investors failing because two things, two important numbers: budget, rehab budget, and they don't check they don't comp the property the right way. So they make mistake comping the property or getting the rehab numbers. So going back to the contractor, I always like to find people that are kind of new in the business, but I know their quality, and I help them uh, kind of bring subcontractors, connecting them with other people in the business so they can create their own kind of crew. That's how I do it now. Why? Because I've been scammed like more than 4 times by contractors. When I say scam, I trust people a lot. That's my mindset. I've paid ahead of time. That don't do that. Never. I've paid ahead of time, and contractors have run with my money and let me hang in there. So now my business looks like I have a core, like small team, like 3 to 5 people, that they're the kind of the utilities, and I have all the subcontractors under my belt, from foundation, roof, everything, even drywall and finishes, tape and float. And my small team, like 3 to 5, they just do the general things like painting, trimming, doors, all those stuff.
Awesome. And so when you're talking to a contractor and they want some money down, how much money would you give them to get started, if any? And then how do you navigate that conversation?
So these days I give them nothing, but I understand if you're trying to, it's a balance, right? If you're trying to find a cheap contractor, when I say cheap, they don't have money, they don't have reserves. So you're kind of helping them for them help to them helping you, allowing them, how can I say it? So allowing them help you, right? So most of them, the cheap ones, are the ones that are racing, the ones that are growing, like racing stars, they don't have money saved. So in those cases, you have to be very careful and yes, give them a little bit up front for they to pay at least, I don't know, a week of labor of his guys and his guys. But I always try to buy materials myself and pay for labor. That's another big thing. I know that some people like to hire contractors and contractors will take care of everything, but I like to pay materials myself. It will cost me a little bit more time, like handling like the purchases, Home Depot, But again, if you pay only for labor, you can control more your expenses there.
Yeah, awesome. I've done it both ways. I've given money up front, and I've also had the situation where I buy all the materials, and I don't pay them until the job's done. And I've had them say like, "Hey, I need money to get started," and I say, "What do you need money for?" Materials. Okay, I can provide all the materials. I'll even let you pick the materials. I'll just pay for it. Then what do you, they're like, "Well, I need money." Well, what do you need money for? Well, I need to pay my guys. Okay, well, on Friday I can pay your guys. What do your guys need to make? I've done it like that. And then they say, "Well, I still need money." Well, what do you need money for? Because sometimes contractors are trying to get a deposit from you to go finish another job where they've already spent the money or overspent. And so somebody called it this, and I stole it from them. I said sometimes contractors are like a Ponzi scheme. They're trying to get 20 or 25%, 50% down from you to go finish their other project. Then in order to finish your project, they need a deposit from their next job. So they're commingling funds. Not all contractors do that, of course, but it's a common theme in our business. And I've had contractors tell me, "Well, why would I want to work for you? You don't have any money. You're not showing me any money. I'm financing your job." So I've had it go both ways where I've said, "Why do you need money? I'll pay your guys on Friday. I'll buy all the material." And then having them say, another part of them say, "Well, I'm not coming to work on your job if you can't give me a significant deposit." Um, and because why would I come work for you if you don't have any money? So it's a balancing act. I found like
Yeah, it's about
really good really good contractors that perform on time, that have really good subs that can take care of everything for you, they're going to want a deposit up front. And more mom and pop people will kind of work on the getting paid on Friday model. So it's kind of up to you to figure out what works best for you. I also haven't done remote investing, so I haven't invested in another city or whatever. So I know some people who do a lot of flips. They'll stand up a team in a city and do a whole bunch of flips. So they're doing it in house there. But some people, when they remotely invest, they want to use like a general contractor. And in those cases, you're going to be putting deposits down. They're going to be
It's
handling
better.
money.
Yeah.
So you have to decide what business model works for you. And when we're starting out, I'm okay with people using general contractors when they first start out. And if you're trying to buy 10 houses a month, you're probably going to need to use, I mean, like 10, 12 houses a year. You're buying a house a month, 2 houses a month. You're probably going to need to be using a general contractor, and they're going to need money up front too. So it's a balancing act. I've done it both ways, and there's pros and cons to both of them. So you have,
Get ready because you're gonna lose money. You're gonna have I've seen investors saying that I never lose money in a deal, bro. You're never done. You're not doing enough, or just you're not pushing yourself, because if you're buying 10 properties a month, you have to take risks, trusting in people, and it's okay. That way you can filter. Okay, you scam me. That's okay. I call it silent seminars. 20, 30K. Oh, seminar, good. What did seminar is teaching me right now? But
silent
yes, you have to
seminar.
trust. You have to
Yeah,
trust. You have to trust
I
people in
like that
this.
term, silent seminar. I've also heard it called paying for your education. And so when I first
Hmm.
started, I thought I'm going to pay nobody nothing. I'm not going to get a mentor. I'm not going to get a coach. I'm not going to get a network. And I saw some people around me lose some money doing things on their own. And usually that amount of money that you can lose is greater than the cost of getting the right coaches and the right mentors in your world. And then I have paid big money for coaching in the past. Um, but my first deal that I did in single family was $55,000, and I did not pay $55,000 for coaching. I think I paid $30,000 for my first mentorship. And so you make 55 on your first deal, you made all your money back and then some. But I was going to flip it. And then I've told the story before. I would have made 55 grand if I flipped the house, but having the right people in my corner means that that $55,000 flip turned into a $115,000 check when I held the property for a few years, rented it out, let it cash flow, and then I sold it. And so when I made
Nice.
115 to my bottom line, that was the check I took away from closing. That doesn't count the cash flow I had over the years. That doesn't count the depreciation and the tax benefits that I have writing off my taxes from me and my wife's income. I was still working at that time. And so um, I've actually had a reaction with newbies when I go to like local real estate meetups, and they said, "Have you ever paid for coaching?" I said, "Yeah, I've had 3, now 4 coaches in my life for different stages." And they're like, "Oh, did you pay somebody 25 grand?" Yeah, I did. And they kind of look at you like you're crazy, like, "Uh-oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing." Reality is you pay someone 25 grand and you go make 115 grand, which is the
Hmm.
numbers of how it worked on my first time. I think someone would take that deal every day of the week, because you're not doing that in your 401k, you're not doing that in your IRA, and you're not doing that with your normal W 2 job. Um, and so I like when you said silent seminar, that kind of brought it forward to me, is that, we take hits and we learn from it. And so you have about 60 doors on 30 properties right now. And are you currently buying anything else? You got the high
Yeah.
end flips going. What else you got going on?
Yeah, I'm still buying actually, uh, because of people, because of my network. Right now, I'm doing zero marketing. It's just like organic deal flow that I have. I literally receive, like, I would say 3 to 5 good deals a week. I cannot take them all, but now I'm creating like a system, bringing investors, bringing partners, like financial partners, like we call it PMP, private money partners, or PMLs. So I can take down, because I have teams. I would call it systems. I call it, let's call it people. I have good people in place that I can take down. Uh, right now, I have 9 projects going on at the same time, rehabs, and I bring in, and next week should be like 3, 4 more. But I can take more if I have the right financial partners next to me. Last year, I bought a lot of properties, a lot of fourplex, like 10 fourplexes. I know I overextended myself. When I say overextend, I was not using the right partners. I was trying to do everything with my money, right? Hard money lenders and my own money. So it is, I can call it stressful when everything depends on your finances. Sometimes things don't go the way you want. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit more than you have planned. Sometimes deals get delayed. So for an investor to grow like myself, I want to scale like big time. I need those private money lenders. I need those private money partners in my life. That's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it right now. 50% of the deals that I have on the pipeline and that I have on the rehab, those are with partners, financial partners. Most of them, they want to keep the properties. The other ones, they want to sell to make a profit.
So you used a couple terms I want to break down here. You said PML, private money lender, and PMP, private money partner. So private money
Yes,
lender is when people give you money and they're secured by a note. So they're investing in debt.
correct.
They are debt investors. They are providing you a loan. And debt investors are really secure. They get paid first if there's ever like a bankruptcy or if you get kidnapped by aliens or hit by a bus. They are in that position where they foreclose and they get the property, and debt is very secure. A private money
Mm-hmm.
partner or PMP is someone who gives you money, but they partner. They participate on the equity side of the balance sheet. They are
Yep.
equity investors with you in many ways. So if the property appreciates and goes crazy, they make more money. The property declines in value or the project is not as fruitful as we had hoped, they make less money. They are less secure. A
Mm-hmm.
private money partner takes more risk and can participate in more of the reward. And so it's up for people listening to decide when you meet people that want to work with you, are they better as a private money partner or private money lender? At this time, I've had tons of private money lenders. I've never had a private money partner. I don't know if I'll ever will. I'm open to having that conversation, but everyone that's ever came through my world and has talked to me, when you talk about their goals, how much money they have, what kind of risk they want to take, what kind of timeline they're looking for, everyone I've talked to is best as a private money lender. However, Liuver has both private money lenders and private
Yep.
money partners.
Again, we went back to those doctors, those people who need to buy real estate to offset taxes. I mean, for a different reason that our reason as a real estate hospitals, right? So those are the private money partners that I'm looking. Those people who wants to buy real estate, they know that the best option, the best vehicle is real estate, but they don't have the time, or they know that it's kind of difficult to get where we are today, right? So they
Right.
invest their money. Also, people who want to learn, who have money and they want to learn. Instead of paying a mentorship, they just go and invest with someone like yourself, like me, and learn in the process of doing the work.
That's
And
right.
actually, that's going to be that's how I do it when I'm going to do new things. Like right now, I'm doing new construction. That's kind of what I'm focusing: new construction and bigger deals like commercial multifamilies and land. I'm going to do it that way. In that specific scenario, I'm the newbie, right? So I'm going to bring someone with me, add a lot of value to them, bring the deals, bring the money, and I will partner with them. Bro, every time, this is a life principle and really good for it, inside and real. Every time I go and do something new by myself, I lose money. It happens when I did my first from birth strategies. I tried to do my first flip. Boom, failure. It's not the same. Fixing a property to keep versus fixing a property to sell is not the same. When I tried to do my first creative deal, innovation, by myself, I thought that I was the Cuban Morby, the Cuban face Morby. By myself, boom, I lost 40K in innovation. So no more, baby, no more. Every time I'm going to do something new, I'm going to bring someone with experience. Even if I have to give them 100% of the profits, but I need to learn with them. I need someone to hold my hand. That's a cheat code of growing.
I love that. That's how I've taken on the life too. I've had a lot of mentors in life and I take people along the way. And sometimes like the first person that really was giving me advice was a private money lender, a seasoned private money lender. So it's all about finding people that align with you and just do not think you're going to do this on your own and go out on your own and do this,
Mhm.
or you're going to lose money like Liuver. So
You're going to pay it in a, either way. You're going to pay it either way.
You're gonna pay
Pay with
either
a lot of
way.
work, a lot of learning. Sometimes it's not with money, it's with a lot of learning, a lot of work, a lot of stress. Or just go and pay a mentor, or just not pay a mentor, just bring deals and do JVs. I will say everyone, and I love that about the sub two community. They push every newbie, every person starting to real estate to go on JV at least for the first couple of deals. Then you can go and do your thing, and even bring newbies to your world to teach them.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to move to the last segment of the show, and I'm going to talk about the course run on life. So everybody listening to this today, you're on a course like how a ship sails through the ocean, and we think we're doing this on our own accord, our own free will. But oftentimes it's a course that that society set you up on. Maybe it was your parents, maybe it is your
Mm-hmm.
spouse, maybe it is your friends, or where you went to college, or what degree you have, or where you just so happen to grow up. But we think we're on our own free will, but we're on a course. And somewhere along the way, every real estate investor I talk to, their course shifted and they ended up as a real estate investor. And so I like to ask people, I found most of the time that course shift comes from a book. And so in this case, what book kind of changed your course the most? Either changed you to become a real estate investor or changed your path once you were already a real estate investor? What book had the biggest impact on you?
I actually I was sharing it the other day. It's a book about relationships. It's How to Win Friends, I Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Of course, we all have like real estate related, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, couple of other books from Kiyosaki. But the actual book, I can tell you, I've read like a ton of books, but the I will say the most important book in my life after the Bible is like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I call it the best business book ever because it's all about relationships, and that's another big thing that we didn't talk. Every time that I go to a next level in my life in my business is because of someone. I mentioned at the beginning that someone helped me to buy my first fourplex because he had experience. Then someone helped me, my hard money lender, uh, to buy off market deals. Then in the sub two community, someone helped me to buy properties creative to understand. And now in new construction, someone helped me to get into new construction. And now into multifamily, I don't know if it's you or someone, but someone will help me. And that's the thing about mentors. I choose my mentor and I go and hunt for my mentor. It's like, okay, you're going to be my mentor, but you don't know it yet. So I will go and add value like crazy to you. I will be on top of you. I will bug you like crazy for you to have me on top of your mind every time. So if you have a deal, you will send it to me. Uh, I don't know. I have that kind of principle. I will hunt my mentors down if they want to earn it.
The
Doing the
abundance
right thing.
mindset. You have an abundance mindset, and
Mm-hmm.
there's two kind of mindsets in the world. Everyone falls into them. You either have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset. And I'm looking for a better way to break this down, but the best way I've found so far is like the scarcity mindset says I earned $100. Now I need to hide this. I need to not pay tax on this. I need to stretch this as long as possible because this could be the last $100 that I've ever got in my life. An abundance mindset gets $100 and said, how could I take half of this and set it on fire to go make another $100 and now I have 150? And to keep repeating that process. And so you can tell really quick when you talk to people if they have an abundance mindset or scarcity mindset. And also, it's very difficult to change someone's mindset, whether their abundance or scarcity mindset. So many times in life, I found that when I'm talking to someone with the wrong mindset, I just move on to the room and go talk to the next person because there's no way in the time we have to talk will I ever be able to change this person's mindset. It takes big experiences and a
No, it
long
takes a
learning
lot.
curve. Yeah, it takes big experiences and a long learning curve for you to change your mindset. So I love that you said that. And so um, next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Go Giver. And so you know the Go Giver. You've read that book.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
have it as well. And I say on every episode, if you, when you were born, your parents had to give to you long before you were capable of giving back to them. And when you work a typical job, you work for 2 weeks or more before you get your first paycheck. So if you believe you're going to hold firewood in your hand and say you're going to talk to your fireplace and say, give me heat first, and then I'll give you this wood, it's going to be a very cold winter. So I ask everybody who comes on the show, what can you give our audience today, Liuver?
Well, that's a really good question because in all my networkings, I ask people like two simple. You know that networking is kind of scary for some people, but I have like a super simple principle. It's like not even ask for their names. It's like, what do you need? What do you need first? It's like, how can I serve you first? And then what do you have? So that's kind of uh, how I network with people. So what do I have? How can I serve people who follow me or who reach out to me? Is like first with a ton of I would say experience. I'm sharing a lot of what I do in my Instagram page, on my YouTube. I'm creating like an underwriting channel on my YouTube. Other than sharing these kind of stories, I can definitely give inspiration for people. I mean, I'm an immigrant who just came to the state like 8 years ago. If I can do it, my English is kind of broken still. I'm not 100%, but I don't care. I still mix my verbs. It's like Joker, me want this, but that's fine. It's about the connection. So I can give that a lot of underwriting skills. If someone wants to invest money or want to learn, I'm open to that. Actually, that's my kind of my big goal is to buy 1,000 doors, 1,000 properties with partners, bringing them equity, cash flow, depreciation, all the real estate goodies. Yeah, I'm eager to help people because first that's kind of my personality, and also because I am what I am today because all the people that helped me here. So in anything, and that's why I have a ton of partners. I don't. I believe that I cannot create a course because I share everything for free. So I don't hold things back. So I will have nothing new to say in a course or a mastermind. I share
Awesome.
everything, and
And
I'm
where
working on that. I'm working on that to create like a 2 day workshop. It's like I'm gonna do it next year or this year.
awesome. And where can people find all that content that you give away?
Basically, my main platform is Instagram, like at Liuver.Sanudo, first name dot last name. I think YouTube handle is the same, Liuver.Sanudo, and Facebook, same. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Liuver.Sanudo. Did I say that
Yeah,
right?
and I have in, yep, you got it. It's weird. It's a weird name.
Uh-huh.
So I have in my
Mhm.
Instagram, I have my Blink card. Are you familiar with Blink? It's like a
Yes.
digital presentation card. I have all my links there, even my portfolio kind of credibility package with pipeline, the deals. Everyone can see that. I'm okay sharing even the addresses for the properties that I don't have even on the contract. So anyone that can access my link in my Instagram can see my YouTube, all my emails, phone numbers, my credibility package, kind of my portfolio with addresses, numbers, pictures. I was trying to have that kind of in the private, but what the hell? I want to share with everyone so they can see, and even the pipeline. It's kind
And
of like
so
an organic marketing for
so
investors.
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, it's at Liuver.Sanudo.
Yep.
And that's where you can go to find them. And then what can our audience give you today?
Uh, so what we were talking about investors, right? So I'm bringing those opportunities for investors to get returns on their money. Actually, right now, for example, right now I have IRA investors. I have people with private capital that they have their savings. I have other investors that they need to buy properties. They need to buy, for example, Airbnbs or multifamilies to offset their taxes. So that's one, I would say one type of audience that I'm looking is to those investors who need to buy deals. My company will do a done for you service from A. When I say A is like finding deeply distressed, deeply discount deals, even a sub twos. I don't like to buy creative deals at top of the price. So finding the properties, fixing the properties, refinancing the properties, and managing the properties. We didn't talk about the managing part, but I do manage Airbnbs, I manage Section 8s, I manage co-livings, long terms, and house hacking properties. So bringing investors and also deals. I'm always open. I'm buying because I have investors now that they want to invest with me. They need help. I have a I have a need of deals right now. Even if I have right now I have a good deal flow, but there's always uh, I can always buy new deals for sure.
Awesome. And again, we gave out how everyone can get a hold of you. And if you want to, please give my Instagram and TikTok a like. I'm at Michael B.
Please.
Someone, and my YouTube is Michael Hong. And I give out my cell phone number on every podcast. So if you have any deals in the Houston area you want me to look at, or if you have any questions, shoot me a text at 832-301-9672. Don't call me. I won't answer. I have so many spam calls. I won't pick it up if I don't know who you are. So shoot me a text. This has been Michael Hong and Liuver with the Be Someone podcast signing off.
Awesome.